Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a late night stream. I'm just going to talk about a little bit of Colts football real quick. I don't really expect many people to be on this live stream, but for those that may watch this at a later date, I hope you're doing well, and I hope my audio is sounding pretty well. I'm actually going to make sure my audio is sounding well really quick, so I'm going to mute myself. That way, the audio doesn't pick up on here once I actually get to the stream. Here we go. Okay, we're good. So, now I'm going to share the stream, but the basic goal of today's stream is going to be just talking Colts Texans, just what I'm looking for, and then whatever you guys want to talk about. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday. College football was a little crazy today. Wasn't sure if certain teams are going to win or lose, like you saw Texas and or not Texas, Alabama and South Florida. That was a low-scoring game for a while. Then Alabama pulled away at the end. You look at the Georgia game, same thing. Georgia, they were down 14-3.5, came back and won. Notre Dame, they were up 21-14 at halftime, ended up winning 41-17. So, it's been a crazy day, but now we focus on tomorrow, which is the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. Offensively, as far as things I'm looking for in this game, the pass game, I want to see it be opened up a little bit more. I want to see Richardson take more shots in this game than he did week one. I want to see more like 20-plus yard passes from Anthony Richardson. I want to see, Alec Pierce get like a 40-yard catch, something like that. I don't want to just see screen passes, check downs. I don't think that's going to be the case in this game. I think going up against somebody like the Texans, you can take more shots down the field. You got speed, so use the speed. You got Josh Downs. Look, I know a lot of people, they're not as high on Alec Pierce, but he's got speed. So, I want to see him be able to catch some balls deep down the field. I want to see him create some separation. Even Michael Pittman, he can get down the field. He can make some really good grabs too. We saw that when Carson Wentz was here. So I want to see more shots deep down the field personally. I don't want to see Richardson just force it if there's like two guys on Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman. I think that's pretty much everybody. McKenzie as well. I don't want to see Richardson just force it deep down the field, if there's a couple guys on one man. If that's happening where you have two guys on Pierce and, you have to throw a 5-yard pass, so be it. But I would like to see more shots deep down the field. AOQ, you're in the chat. How's it going? Doesn't mean anything if we lose to a team with no O-line. I mean, yeah, it means that we're far from where we need to be. It pretty much means we're pretty much where I think we're at, which is a team that's going to win 4 or 5 games. It doesn't look good, like if Stroud doesn't play tomorrow, then obviously that's not going to look good. But yeah, it definitely won't look good at all. I also want to see the offensive line, kind of speaking of O-line, going to the Colts offensive line. Doesn't look like you're going to have Quinn Nelson there, but I still want to see our offensive line create some opportunities for the run game. Last week, granted, the run game was not good at all. Deion Jackson was pretty bad. Evan Hull didn't really play much at all in the game. But the offensive line wasn't really doing that good of a job, I thought, when it came to the run game. Pass protection, they were doing pretty well. Like there were times where they just weren't doing great in the pass protection, but there are other times I thought they did a pretty decent job. The run game, they were not good at all, in my opinion. They need to step up. They got to open up some holes. They got to, help our running game get going. If we had Taylor, I'm sure Taylor would figure it out, but we don't have Taylor right now. We have Deion Jackson. We have Jake Funk. We have Zach Moss. And I think Zach Moss is a good back. But the offensive line really does need to help the run game because if they don't, It's not going to be fun, in my opinion. And speaking of the run game, you got to get more than 24 yards. You got to, okay? Richardson cannot lead you guys and have like double of what everybody else has. It can't happen at all. The run game's got to get going, because if we can get that run game going, it's going to make Richardson's day a lot easier. So really that, and also before I move on to defense, the receivers, I need Alec Pierce to step up. I really do. I need Josh Downs to play a complete game. I thought he played well in the first half, had 30 yards in the first half against Jacksonville. Didn't do anything in the second half. He needs to step up. Isaiah McKenzie, when he's out there, he's got to step up. I'm pretty confident that Michael Pittman is going to do his job. He's going to go out there. He's going to get you some yards. But Alec Pierce especially, he's got to step up. Like, we need the receiver group to get some separation created. Okay, you're going up against the Texans. You're not going up against the Cowboys. Okay, so you should have some success against the Houston Texans. Moving on to the defense. Win in the trenches, whether that is stopping the run game from getting going or getting pressure on the quarterback. You got to win in the trenches, starting when it comes to the run game. Don't let Dameon Pierce get going. Okay, Dameon Pierce is a very good running back. Had a really nice rookie year. He's probably going to have a really nice second year. This defense cannot let the run game go. Okay, this defensive line, they got to stop the run game. They got to limit what they do, because if you do that, it's going to make whoever the quarterback is, whether it's Stroud, whether it's a long neck Davis Mills, whoever it is, if the run game's not going and it's like 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 8, they're not going to have much success tomorrow. So you gotta win in the trenches when it comes to the run game. When it comes to the pass game, get pressure, get in the quarterback's face, get them to the ground, knock them down, force them to make some turnovers. Look, if it's Stroud, you should be able to force some turnovers. You should be able to. Get in their face. That's what I want to see. Linebackers, I need you to do I can't speak. Linebackers, do a good job in pass coverage. That'd be nice too. And then when it comes to our secondary, just do what you did last week, because you did a pretty good job. Yeah, look, Calvin Ridley, he did his thing. You had Zay Jones with that crazy catch. They did their thing towards the end of the game. But I was pretty happy with some of the guys in the secondary. I thought Kenny Moore played a pretty good game. Dallas Flowers, I thought, was pretty solid. Daryl Baker was okay. And AO, he brings it up that he was exposed last game, needing to be at his best tomorrow. And look, he is very inexperienced. This entire group outside of like Kenny Moore and Dallas Flowers is very inexperienced. So when you go up against a team like Jacksonville that has good weapons, there's going to be times where you do get beaten, you do get exposed. But outside of Daryl Baker, I was pretty satisfied with the secondary. Look, Calvin Ridley, that speed he has, it's going to be tough to keep up with. It really is. But I thought they did a pretty good job. And then let's go to the special teams, more specifically on the punt coverage. Do not let anybody just pick the ball up when you have like 3 guys around that returner. Don't let them return it inside our territory. Don't let that happen. Okay, do a good job in the punt coverage. Look, Brian Mason, his first game in the NFL, I expect him to be better when it comes to coaching. Did a great job at Notre Dame, I thought, although I will say his weakness was the coverages, right? Whether it was on kickoffs or punts. There were times where things like what happened this past Sunday did happen at Notre Dame. It was limited. It didn't happen very often, but once in a while it did happen. So cannot let that happen again, because honestly, if Agnew doesn't pick it up and run it, deep down the field, I don't think Jacksonville wins. I think the Colts get the win week 1. I think that punt coverage being so bad was a big reason why we lost. And if it was good, I think there's a good chance the Colts win, in my opinion. So that's pretty much all I'm looking for. I'll give you guys my quick prediction real quick, and then we'll just hang out if you guys want. I understand it's late at night. It's 11:15 Eastern. I get it. I'm going to start doing these on Saturdays where we just hang out in the middle of the night before the game starts. Only going to go until about midnight. I'm not really going to go much longer than that or much later than that. But as far as how I see the game going, who I think is going to win, I think Houston's offensive line being as bad as it is coming into this game, I can't really see our defense letting Houston do their thing. I think our defensive line is going to get in the face of whoever is the quarterback, whether it's Stroud, whether it's Mills. They're going to see Buckner's face, Sampson's face, Lewis's face, Kwity Paye's face, Dio's face, all in their face. So I don't see Houston's offense really doing anything. I'm not big on Houston's defense either. I do expect the Colts to win this game. I am really surprised that Houston, at least last I checked, they were the favorites, and everybody's picking Houston to win. I assume everybody's picking Houston to win because they probably go, oh, it's the Colts. They're going to suck this year. They're going to be terrible. They'll get the first pick or something, right? That's my only explanation. So I think the Colts are going to win this game by at least 14 points. I don't see this relatively getting closer. Let me check the spread real quick, and then we'll get to your guys' comments. So I clicked on college football. Did not want to click on that. Yeah, Houston's -1. That's the odds, -1, which is pretty much a pick 'em, but still, they are considered the favorites. Poo Poo, Winnie the Poo Poo, he says Colts are going to win, or she, not going to assume your gender. And then because Houston is at home, yeah, that is true. They do usually get a point, but still, it's weird that, especially with some of the injuries they have, and Stroud being questionable, it's weird that they would even be considered a favorite. I figured the Colts would be like a -3 or 4 at least. And then AO says, what's your prediction for AR and Zach Moss? I think Anthony Richardson is going to have about, I would say 200 to 220 yards passing. I think he's going to have about 50 yards rushing. I think he's going to have 2 passing touchdowns. Another rushing touchdown is what I think he's going to have. When it comes to Zach Moss, I think probably about, I'll go 75 yards rushing. I think that's what he'll do. And I think he'll get in the end zone once. That's what I see him doing. And then P. Draggy, how you doing? Is AR starting? Yes, AR is starting. He will play tomorrow. It is Stroud that is questionable right now. And I expect Stroud to play. I'd be shocked if he doesn't play. And I would be upset. Okay, I want Stroud to play. Okay, I want to see that rookie versus rookie. Okay, that's what I want to see. I want to see the 2nd overall pick and the 4th overall pick go at it. I want to see, those guys. Okay, it's going to be an interesting game. You got a first-time head coach going up against a first-time head coach. That's going to be pretty exciting. 2 rookie quarterbacks going at it. That's obviously pretty exciting. So I want to see Stroud play. I really do. And I think he will. I would be shocked if he does not play at all. Yeah, so I think this is going to be an easy Colts win, which honestly, I think this is probably going to be the only time where you can say this will be an easy Colts victory, because after that, either it will be a close Colts victory, or it will be not close Colts losses, or close Colts losses. I can't speak. P. Draggy says, heck yeah, a matchup we all wanted for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Seeing Stroud and Richardson going at it, that is something I think not even just Texans and Colts fans want to see. I think other fans want to see, fans of teams that aren't playing at 1 o'clock. I think they want to see that too. And then Poo Poo says, I want to see Alec show up. Yes, I agree. I want to, and I think he will. I think Alec is going to show up. And then, yeah, he only had the 1 catch for 5 yards. Not acceptable. He's got to step up. We really need him to step up and perform at a high level. What is my cat doing? I don't know. They found something though. But and then AO says, you think Juwan Winfrey makes an impact? I don't think so. I don't think he's really going to play. I feel like if I had to guess, it's probably going to be 4 receivers that play, and maybe you'll get a play or 2 with Winfrey. But if he gets out there, it's going to be very little. And I don't see him making a big play. I think he'll just kind of be out there, maybe to block. Maybe he gets a catch. I hope he does. But I don't really see much of an impact at all in tomorrow's game. So, yeah. And then good news, at least for me. This doesn't really affect you guys. But good news is I'm getting a new phone on Friday. I'm leaving AT&T and I'm joining Verizon. Verizon's offering a deal where you can trade in any iPhone in any condition whatsoever, and you get an iPhone 15 Pro. Got to get the unlimited plan. That's what I'm doing. I'm excited because this phone that I have, it is struggling. It's an 11, but it's struggling. So I finally getting a new phone, which is exciting, which means when I'm at the Notre Dame Ohio State game on Saturday, I might get some nice pictures and video for you guys. I'll be in a corner on the same side that Notre Dame would run out of the tunnel. That's where I'll be at. So that will be exciting. I know I'll be on stream with Derek tomorrow, so I will 1,000% make sure I poke the bear when it comes to the Notre Dame Ohio State stuff. So I'm going to be mentioning that, but should be exciting. Honestly, like if you're a college football fan, this upcoming Saturday is going to be a great day because it starts off with Clemson, Florida State. That's going to be a good game. Florida State almost lost to Boston College. I wish it would have happened because Notre Dame probably would have moved up another spot. But you had that happen. You have the Clemson, Florida State game at noon. You have Ole Miss, Alabama, and Colorado, Oregon at 3:30. And then at 7:30, you have Notre Dame, Ohio State. I think Penn State, Iowa's playing too, but it is what it is. And then Poo Poo says FSU, baby. I legally cannot root for FSU. I legally cannot as a Notre Dame fan. And then AO says I'm a UT fan. Surprised how well they're doing. Yeah, Texas. I assume you're talking Texas. Yeah, Texas. I figured would be good, but they're playing better than I thought. They kind of had a scare too today. They were in the fourth quarter or heading into the fourth quarter only up by 7 against Wyoming, which, to be fair, it seemed like every top 10 team except for like 2 or 3 struggled. Notre Dame, they had some struggles early on before they pulled away. Alabama, they really struggled. They're going to fall. They're not. Look, they're going to win maybe 9 games. They do not look good. Unless they get the quarterback thing figured out, they don't look good. But you had Georgia coming back from behind to win. It was a crazy day. But yeah, no, Texas is doing well. So I'm trying to think. I did put in a bet for the game tomorrow, the Colts and Texans game, and it's nothing crazy, right? It was $1. So $1, but I could win $340. Zach Moss touchdown, Josh Downs touchdown, Alec Pierce touchdown, Colts win, and then I did, because I don't think it's going to be a shutout, I did put Dameon Pierce getting a touchdown. Because if anybody's going to score on Houston, I believe it would be Dameon Pierce. But I would not be surprised if nobody scores. Yeah, and then Tennessee lost to Florida, which that was kind of a surprise, but I thought that was a potential upset that could have happened. Look, Florida would be much better if they had a good quarterback this year, because Graham Mertz, terrible. He was terrible at Wisconsin. He's terrible at Florida, but he might have had a good game. I don't know. But yeah, I did put in that bet. It's only $1, so hey, if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But $340, that's obviously a good thing. But yeah, is there any exciting games happening outside of obviously the Colts tomorrow? Let's look. Let's look at the NFL. I think that Bears Tampa Bay game is going to be pretty interesting. That would be pretty interesting. Atlanta Green Bay could be fun. I hope the Chargers absolutely annihilate Tennessee. That would be hilarious. Yeah. And then AO says, I need the Colts to make an impact an impact statement. All receivers get 1 touchdown apiece. LOL. That would be awesome. I would be all for that. Richardson getting what? 4 touchdowns? Or I guess if Winfrey's playing too, so it'd be 5 passing touchdowns. That would be great. I will accept that. And if that happens, they will definitely win by 14 or more points. And then Poo Poo says Ravens versus Bengals, another one. Yeah. That is another one. I'm actually really curious to see if Joe Burrow will bounce back, because Joe Burrow was really not good in that game. He was so bad he got benched. That's how bad he was. But yeah, that I think is going to be an interesting game. I think Baltimore is going to win that game if I had to predict. Joe Burrow, is he fully healthy from that injury he had in training camp? Because I think that was obviously something that was an impact for the game. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. But yeah, I'm going to go Ravens on that personally. But I think that let me pick my cat up. The Dolphins Patriots game, I think, is going to be fascinating too. That will be interesting. And then there we go. And then Sam or AOQ says Sam Howell, Baker Mayfield, and Brock Purdy all received Week 1 wins. They're all 6-1. Yes, the Short Kings are winning. The Short Kings are having a pretty good season, so good for them. Unless Kyler Murray isn't playing right now, so I'm sure Kyler Murray's like, look, this team doesn't even want me. They want Caleb Williams. I don't care. So maybe he's happy, oddly enough, that Arizona's not going to do well. Who knows? But yeah, no. Shout out to those teams. Was kind of surprised that Baker and the Buccaneers were able to get that win over Minnesota. But hey, it is Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, so what can you expect? But yeah, we're gonna hang out for probably 30 more minutes. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, like I said, it could be Colts related, it could be NFL related, it could be anything related. Just let me know in the comments, and I will address you guys for sure. And then P. Draggy. Oh yeah, Bryce Young too. Unless you're straight up tiny, Bryce Young, that is true. Yeah, Bryce Young did not have a good day. He'll be fine, but yeah, yesterday, not good at all. That's another Week 1 loss for Frank Reich. The Frank Reich and Colts not winning in Week 1 streak continues, just on different teams. But yeah, no, I think he'll be good. But yeah, that's not great. And then yeah, speaking of that, Panthers Colts, that's gonna be a big game too. Big storyline. Frank Reich coaching against his former team. Should be pretty interesting. I like Frank. I know some people don't like him, but I like Frank. I think Frank's a good guy. He's a good dude. Just did not work out. But I am kind of rooting for them in Carolina. Not to beat us, but to have some success. But yeah. And then AOQ says possible Colts trade Garner Minshew to a QB needy team by trade deadline. I know his name came up for a couple of teams. What are you guys doing? I think it is a possibility. I think it depends on what is offered. I don't really think the Colts are wanting to trade him. I think they want to keep him because you never know with Richardson. Maybe Richardson gets hurt. Maybe he doesn't get hurt. You never know. So you want to have Minshew at least as like some security. You never know what could happen. But I think if like a second round pick is offered, let's say the Jets offered like a second round pick or something like that. I think, yes, we could potentially see a trade. But I don't know. We shall see. And then Mikey Mendez is in the chat. What is going on, Mikey? Hope you're having a great weekend so far. And then Sarah's also in the chat. What's going on, Sarah? She says, go Irish next week. Absolutely. I will be at the game. I'm not going to be sitting behind the end zone like I was. I'll be a little more in the corner. But should be fun. It's opposite side of where the student section is. But I will be able to see the screen, which is what I wanted. Spend a little extra money so I can see the screen. But yes, go Irish. I will be messing around with Derek on streams. It will be exciting. And then P. Draggy says, unless you're the Jets, it's a bit too early to tell. Yeah, that's true. And the crazy thing, too, speaking of the Jets, Rodgers had that surgery where apparently if all goes well, he could be back by the playoffs. That would be insane. If Aaron Rodgers can actually come back and play in January, if the Jets get to the playoffs, if the Jets are like 4-8, there's no way he's going to come back. I wouldn't come back. I would just wait until next season. But I swear, if he comes back, that would be absolutely insane. That would be absolutely insane, and that'd be kind of crazy. It would change a lot of how that surgery and whole process is handled. And then Poo Poo says Hunt or Fournette. So I don't really want to sign Hunt, personal reasons, and I'm not really going to get into it. So I would go Fournette, although I'm not a big Fournette guy. But if we were going to, and honestly, at this point, I wouldn't sign a running back. If you're going to have Taylor play, and it looks like he will be ready by week 5, don't sign another running back. I mean, just look, deal with Zach Moss, Deion Jackson, Jake Funk, and go from there. But yeah, it's personal reasons. I understand. I know it's kind of the thing, but yeah. And then Sarah says, I would love to get Romeo Dez, I believe is who that is. I'm not sure. I had to watch or hear his name on highlights to know. From Washington, he would be awesome for a receiver group. I gotta watch some of his highlights, but yeah. I mean, if I'll watch some highlights before I say an opinion without having an actual opinion. But definitely think we should address the receiver group a little more. But yeah. Maybe we can draft him in the first round and then get Audric Estime if you're not going to bring back Jonathan Taylor, because he's going to be a dude. And then Mikey does want Hunt. I understand why people want Hunt, but again, it's just my personal thing. And then AOQ says, I'm pulling for Rodgers. Man gets me. Yeah, I'm pulling for him too. And hyped. He gets you hyped. Yeah, that him running out with the American flag, I mean, I'm not a Jets guy, obviously, but I did have some chills. That was really cool. But yeah, just 4 plays, man, and he goes down. It sucks. It sucks for anybody to have that happen too, but I am rooting for him. And then, hey, if that surgery and just if he's able to come back from that surgery as fast as what they think he could, that will change a lot of just how the whole surgery stuff happens. That'd be pretty crazy if he actually does come back from that. And then Mikey says, it's crazy how many injuries the Texans have on their O-line. Time to go hunting for QB. Absolutely not. Look, aren't they like going to have a left guard play at left tackle? Like, that's insane. they're getting a left guard ready to slide over to left tackle. I swear, if we do not get to the quarterback, if we do not bring Stroud down or Mills down, whoever it ends up being, again, I think it's Stroud. If we do not get Stroud on the ground, if we do not get at least 4 sacks, I'm going to be upset. Plain simple. I'm going to be angry. You got to get to him. You have to. At least, like I said, force him to get rid of the ball too early. Force him to throw it away. That's what I want to see. I expect the defensive line to feast. And then Poo says, "Are you comfortable with our receivers right now?" No, I'm not. I'm definitely not. In tight ends, I will say I'm good with the tight end room. I like the tight end room, not the receivers. I am not satisfied with the wide receivers. I think we need to address that in the draft. Whether it's in the first round, whether it's in the second round, you got to do it. There's other holes that need to be fixed. But like I said, if you're going to move on from Jonathan Taylor, you can get Audric Estime probably in round 3, round 4. I'm going after him. Had a great game. And then AOQ says defensive-minded head coaches aren't it, exception of Dan Campbell. Yeah, I mean, there's some that are okay. Like Robert Saleh, I think, is a good coach. I like Robert Saleh. He's a defensive guy. But it doesn't happen very often. It's more the offensive-minded guys that have success. And then, Dan Campbell was a tight end coach for the Saints, I believe. And he was an assistant head coach for the Saints. And then Poo says, I agree. He was. But I can understand why. I think Dan Campbell might have played defense. Let me look that up real quick. We're going to Google Dan Campbell stats, and it'll tell us. I can't remember. Because I know he obviously played for the he was a tight end. Okay, never mind. So he was a tight end coach, but he does kind of have that defensive-minded type of nature. He does sound like a defensive guy. But he was a tight end coach there. And then Poo, I agree. More shots down the field. I want to see it. Like I said, this is a prime game for Alec Pierce to get going, to get those like 40-yard catches and 50-yard catches. This is a game where we need Alec Pierce to step up in that front. But I want to see deep shots. We can do it. Richardson, he could sit on the ground, just kind of throw it up in the air, and we'll go like 55 yards. He's got the arm. So I want to see more shots. And then Pierce's puns, JDW. Hello, JDW. I'm not giving up on him yet. I'm not yet, but he needs to really step up, because if he doesn't, he's going to find his way out of the rotation next year, because we're going to go after receivers. And Sarah says that Penix Jr. is awesome at Washington. Yeah, he's really, really good. I like Penix a lot. I think Penix is going to be pretty successful in the NFL. And Washington, I think, is a sleeper to make the playoffs in college and maybe even get to a title game. They got a really good team. I really like them. And then AO saying LOL to JDW. And then JDW says Houston has a solid defensive line and a decent secondary. Can be a tough game. It can be. But Houston's offense is going to do nothing. I mean, I think Dameon Pierce will get a touchdown. That's about all they'll do. The quarterback is going to do nothing. But I think we're winning double digits. My opinion. And then Mikey says, who do you guys think will have the most receptions tomorrow for the Colts? He says Ogletree. Yeah, because Granson might be out. I will say, I think, and Poo says Pittman. Seems like everybody's saying Pittman. Poo says Pittman. AO says Pittman. And JDW has been impressed by Pittman. I think we're going to pay him in the offseason. That's what I think. He's going to get a nice check. I think Josh Downs, when it comes, so I'll say receiver-wise, Josh Downs, but I'll throw tight end too. assuming Kylan Granson plays, I do believe it will be Kylan Granson if he plays. If he's limited, it can't do much. Obviously, be Ogletree, but if Granson does get playing time, I think Granson will get more receptions than Ogletree. But I will go with Josh Downs. I think Josh Downs can have a big game. I think he's going to have a big game because I think everybody's going to be focused on Pittman. And I think people are going to be on Pierce too because, Pierce has that ability. Yes, he has dropped balls, but he does have that ability of, hey, if he gets by you and he can hold on to the ball, he's gone. You're not stopping him. But I'm going to go with Josh Downs because I don't think Josh Downs is going to get as much focus as some of the other guys. And Mikey says that JDW is right about Pierce. Boys making Butterfinger commercials. Unbelievable. Yeah, that is absolutely true. And then I don't know if CJ Stroud looked good in week 1. CJ Stroud may not play. I mean, he's going to play, but he has a shoulder injury, and who's going to protect him? Okay, is it going to be Donnie, the Walmart clerk? Is it going to be it's going to be McDonald from Subway? Who's it going to be? I don't know. And then JD says Pierce is number one man for Butterfingers. They love him. I did hear that Butterfingers is looking to get Alec Pierce in a commercial. And then Sarah says Grover Stewart needs his bag too. Yes, that is true. I think we can easily bring back Grover and Pittman. But I do think Grover is a must get for that defensive line. Best run defender in the league, I think, personally, as far as guys on the defensive line. And then GDW says Granson is impressive. He is tight end 1 until further notice. Well, until Jelani Woods gets back. But I guess until Jelani Woods can get good playing time. And Poo Poo says that he agrees with Sarah. And then even over Jelani at the moment, Granson was open and catching everything he was able to. Very true. But I think Granson, with his size, his athletic ability, I think he is absolutely capable of being our number 1 tight end. But I think that a duo of him and Granson is going to be very fun. I think a trio of him, Granson, and Ogletree is going to be a lot of fun. And then Mikey says one thing about the injuries to the Texans safeties is that both of the guys filling in started last week and are like 8-year vets. So don't get too crazy about the passing attack. I mean, true, but I don't know. I think we're still going to see some deep shots. And if not, I still think Josh Downs and guys like that are going to be able to get their thing. I think they can avoid the safeties if they need to. And then Ayo says, am I missing something about Mo? Wasn't involved in week 1. I don't remember if he was hurt. I don't think he was. But I don't think Mo is going to be around after this year. I think next year he's going to be released because that's going to give the Colts another $5 million. I just don't think he's going to be really involved much at all. I think they like the other guys. And then Mikey says, I think Tunsil will play for them tomorrow. I mean, maybe, but I think they elevated one of the left tackles, which kind of indicates that maybe he won't, but maybe he will. But even if he does play, he's not going to be healthy. He's not going to be 100%. I think our edge guys should be able to win those battles, depending on the injury. And then Mo making the roster was weird. I agree, but I also think he might have made the roster because Jelani was put on IR. That's my only guess. So maybe he gets released after Jelani is active. I don't know. But I don't think Mo's going to be around much longer, and I like him. I like Mo a lot. I think Mo was talented. Hey, what are you yelling at? What are you yelling at? Okay. And then there we go. Poo Poo says, I was just typing that I'm not impressed with Mo. Yeah, again, I like him, but yeah. I'm not like too overly impressed. I wasn't impressed last year. And then JDW says we should have signed Hamler. I agree. I think we should have. Yes, injuries, but Yeah. And then KJ Hamler could have been nice if he could stay healthy. Yes, would have been nice. And then, I agree. I still think Mo's going to get cut, though. I still do. I think when Jelani's back, he'll get cut. And then Mikey says, I can't wait to see the Jelani Woods and Drew Ogletree duo. Yes, it'd be fun. Woods, Ogletree, and Granson trio is going to be fun, too. But, yeah, those guys with their size and ability to just, make plays happen after the catch is going to be nice. And then Mikey says, you right to JDW. JDW says, the only reason I could see keeping Mo is how inexperienced the room is. Not, possible, but Granson's been there for a few years now. Ogletree and Jelani Woods are in year 2. Granted, Ogletree didn't play last year, but he still was in the system. So, they the only rookie is Mallory. And then Mo's the only tight end with significant time. Very true. I think Granson is approaching significant time. Maybe he is a guy for these young tight ends to look up to. Yeah, true. And also, he is a vet, so a lot of guys outside of the tight end room are going to look up to him. I think, Josh Downs might look up to him a little bit too. Guys like that. And AO says, I'll be at the game tomorrow in Houston. Given last year's results, I'm expecting an entirely different outcome. I agree. There will be no ties at all. Have fun at the game. Should be a good time. Like I said, assuming Stroud plays, you're going to see a fun rookie quarterback battle, and it should be a fun battle for at least 3 years, unless Stroud looks really good and ends up playing really good football. Same with Richardson. Then it will be maybe a decade-long battle. And then Mikey says, Tunsil's still one of the top 10 left tackles in the game. I agree, but still injured. I think that's going to affect his play. We've seen guys that are hurt be affected negatively, and I think that's going to happen, personally. And then Mikey says he's going to the game in Baltimore. You're hyped about that game. That should be a fun game. Be careful, because Ravens fans, they do not like the Colts. So if I went to the game, I would not wear a Colts jersey, because I would be afraid somebody's going to throw, I don't know, clam chowder at it or whatever they eat. They eat, was it crabs? Crab cakes? Yeah, don't let the crab cakes hit your jersey if you're going to wear a jersey there. And then Tunsil, JDW says Tunsil is a top 5 all the way. He has a lot of penalties and injuries. Yeah, look, I think Tunsil's great. And he's, he got his bag in his last contract, and he was well deserving of the bag. Very talented, easily top 5, top 10. But again, injuries, I think that's going to play a factor. Imagine if it's a tie. Don't speak it to existence, JDW. I'd be furious. And then Mikey says Ballard doesn't want to sign anyone good in free agency. Hunt, Jarvis Landry, Reisner are available, and still no trigger finger on them. I definitely think Dalton Reisner should have absolutely been signed by now. Right guard is an issue, and I think he would solve that issue. So I'm really confused that they didn't sign him at least. Hunt's, I have my thoughts on that whole situation. Jarvis Landry, I think that would be a good addition. How much does he want, though? That's kind of the thing, right? Because I think the Colts, they have $6 million to work with. So I think you got to be a little cautious with who you potentially sign. If he's willing to sign on a vet minimum deal, bring him in. Absolutely. But I don't know. I never understood why Ballard isn't. What are they doing? I never understood why Ballard wasn't willing to bring in receivers like that are available in free agency. And then JDW says, I wore a Colts jersey in Lincoln Financial, walked out covered in beer. Look, man, I bet Eagles fans cover themselves in beer. It's Eagles fans. Yeah. But it does not surprise me that happened, because it is Philly fans. And they will eat feces if they win a Super Bowl. And then Papoose is right. JDW says, I'll never go to a Colts game in Houston again. LOL. It should be interesting. I don't know. I think Houston fans are better than Eagles fans, but still, it's Houston still division rival. You're probably going to deal with a bunch of shitbags. And then we'll pull that one up first. AOQ, JDW says AOQ. I wore all Colts attire to the Eagles Stadium. Eagles fans are horrible. You are a stronger man than me. I would never do that. I would never do that in Philly, and I would never do that in Tennessee. Mikey says, bro, I'm in the front row. I swear to God, clam chowder, and I'm going to jail. Yeah. Be careful. Ravens fans could be vicious too, just because of their hatred of the Colts. But yeah. And Ballard does seem like an impulsive buyer. I think that's a good thing in some senses, but I think when you have guys that can help your team right now, you got to do it. Unless Ballard is like, look, I don't think we're going to win more than like 5 or 6 games, so I'm not going to sign anybody. We're just going to stick with the guys we have, and maybe we'll get a top 5 pick. I don't know. Look, if all this means we get Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm okay. And then JDW says, yikes. And then JDW says, dude, how about Bernard Ryman? People were trashing on him. I say give him time. The dude, he played tight end, I think. And then he played tight end for Central Michigan, who went down tonight. They went down, and then he switched to left tackle. He's young in a position, but he's very good at it. Bernard Ryman, he's a dude. We got our left tackle. I think we got our left tackle. And then that dude has been awesome. Yes, the best player on the offensive line, I think, for sure. He's been really good. And then JDW says, I was like 14 when 2 Eagles fans did not care. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Eagles fans are terrible. Philly fans in general are terrible. Okay, there are some good ones. Giovanni, happy 3 years. He's been good. Like, he's a good dude. He's a really good dude. But Eagles fans, for the most part, and Philly fans are just not great. They're very mean. And so are Boston fans. Celtics fans are terrible. Patriots fans, it's New England, but still Boston, they're not good. They're terrible. To be fair, Patriots fans are stupid because they're Patriots fans. They're really dumb. They're like Michigan fans. They're stupid. They really are. But hey, you can't help them, I guess. But yeah, Boston fans. The Red Sox are probably the best of that fan base, but they're still not great. Bruins fans stink. It doesn't surprise me. Philly fans, Boston fans, Tennessee fans, they all stink. They suck. And then Mikey says Raymond has been great in his opinion. I absolutely agree. And then JDW, why are you messing with the washer, guys? Dishwasher. There's nothing under there. Anyway, JDW says we need Q to step up. Absolutely. Don't think he's playing tomorrow, if I had to guess. It does seem like he's probably going to be out. And then Mikey says, you think Houston is in on the Marvin Harrison Jr. sweepstakes? LOL, Stroud was his quarterback. I think they would be, but I believe they traded their first-round pick for this upcoming draft. I think they have Cleveland's, but I think they traded their first-round pick. I could be wrong. Let's double-check. But they definitely would like Marvin Harrison Jr. because him and Stroud have played together. Let's see. Let's look at Houston's draft picks. We're going to find out. So they have 8 picks in 2024. Yeah, they don't have their first round pick. They have Houston, or they have Cleveland's, but Houston traded their first round pick because they're idiots. That front office is stupid. Yes, you got Will Anderson, who's a dude. He's a dude, but you're stupid for giving up your first round pick instead of Cleveland's. And look, if you had to give up an additional second round pick, give that up instead. They're stupid for doing that. And then JDW says, I never want to see Dion play again. Yeah, Dion was terrible. He sucked. He sucked. And he would say he sucked too. He was bad. And then JDW says, just don't ask them about the cupcake. EDP got caught again, sick human being. Yeah, EDP is not a great dude. He's been caught, 5 times? even before this whole thing happened with him, like 2 years ago, I think it was, where you had the YouTube, people record him and he's like, I was just coming for a cupcake. He got caught before that too. And it wasn't really talked about much. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Just knowing how he was and how he responded to certain like allegations. And then here's the funny thing too. I don't want to talk about it too long, but he got like an AI voice thing to act like it was a real person that was interviewing him. And he was saying, oh yeah, I was going to meet somebody, but it wasn't real. It was an act. I was an actor. I'm trying to be in Hollywood, so I was acting. It was just an acting gig. It was an acting role. Everybody was actors involved. And then finally admitted to it, and then gets caught again. It's scumbag. Scumbag. Rotten hell, EDP. And then JDW says Houston won't have that good of a pick. I see Houston having a nice season. Well, that pick goes to Arizona because of, they trade their pick instead of trading Cleveland's. But they won't have it. They'll have Cleveland's though, and Cleveland will probably have like a 10 to 17, somewhere in that range. And then Houston could have 7-9 wins, in my opinion. They really have a decent team. I disagree. I think they have a really bad team. I think Houston's a mess. I do. That's my opinion, though. Mikey says, do you guys think Speed is not getting enough snaps, even though he's effective in the game? I think he's getting the right amount of snaps. I mean, look, your top two guys were obviously going to be, I almost said Nelson. Nelson is not a linebacker. Your top two guys were Leonard and Franklin. And Franklin looks like a dude. Again, looks like a dude. Better get a Pro Bowl invite. He better be selected to the Pro Bowl. He wasn't last year. It was a joke. Should have been. He was more deserving than anybody else that made the Pro Bowl, which granted wasn't many people, but still, he was more deserving of it. But yeah, I think Speed should definitely play more. But I thought I don't know. I thought for that game he got a good amount of snaps. But yeah, I'd be okay with him playing more. And then JDW says he just recently got caught again. I think it's going on Skeeter Jean's channel. Yeah, he did. I don't, because that was the one with Gideon, I think, where he dressed up as a cupcake. And that was a year ago. I think it's going to be released when everything is done. But yeah, hopefully this time he goes to jail. And it seems like the people that caught him or recorded him trying to meet up with somebody, it seems like they're handling it the right way because the other people were not. They were using it for views and clout. And yeah, it was really bad. And the guy that caught him the first time is not a good person either. JDW says Speed played quite a bit last week. I was impressed with him. I agree. JDW says Colts will often play nickel, so it's most likely they have to have backers out there in Shaquille and Zaire. Yeah, not in Zaire and Shaquille, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they need at least 3. And then JDW says my cat really wants to be in the live. He does. He really does. And Mikey says I like her 3 linebacker core. I agree. I like her. Honestly, I like Stewart too. I think Stewart's a good back, or a good linebacker, and he's obviously a really good special teamer. Facts Mikey says JDW Colts have an incredible linebacker room. Only team with a better linebacker core is possibly San Francisco. Yeah, I do think the Colts have one of the better linebacker groups for sure. And then Warner and Greenlaw are great. I agree. Okay, now you don't want to be in the stream. I was going to bring the cat in the stream, but he does not want to be in anymore. And then Mikey says, yeah, San Francisco has some ballers. All right, guys. So I'm going to hop off in a couple minutes. Sorry, my knee keeps hitting the desk that the computer's on. But I'm going to hop off in a couple minutes. So if there's anything else you guys want to say, let me know. I really do appreciate everybody for tuning in, chit-chatting. It's a lot of fun. And yes, JDW, Ohio State Notre Dame is next week. I will be mentioning something tomorrow, and I'm telling you what, I think Notre Dame's going to win. I am going to be there every time Notre Dame plays a big team, and I'm at that game. Notre Dame wins. I will be there. I think Notre Dame just has the better team in general, and I will, if assuming Notre Dame wins, if they do win, I will try to be really nice to Derek on Sunday. I'll be really, really nice, but I will definitely bring it up. I'm going to bring it up tomorrow. They have a great team. Mikey says, Matt, what do you think about our cornerbacks? Definitely inexperienced, but I liked what I saw for the most part. There were definitely situations that were not great. Oh, now you want to be in. Yeah, there were times where they definitely got beat by like Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones, but no, I think as they continue to get more experience, I think they're going to get better and better, in my opinion. And then JDW says, and then he says, I think Notre Dame has this one. I agree. I think this is the one. I think their defense is better this year than it was last year, and I think their offense is miles better than what it was last year. And yeah, Sam Hartman is great. Sam Hartman, I'm telling you right now, depending on what happens with Shedeur Sanders when he gets into conference play, depending on what happens with him, with Michael Penix, guys like that, I think there's a real chance Sam Hartman wins the Heisman. If Notre Dame goes undefeated, he's going to be invited to New York. I think he might. He might win. And then JDW says, no, can't. Can't. And then, LOL. And then better let Derek hear it. He would make you hear it if Ohio State wins. To be fair, last year Derek was not mean about it. But I do expect it to be a good game. And then I'm not as high on Penix as many. Penix is okay. Penix throws a really beautiful ball. He's not my number one quarterback. I'd put Hartman ahead of him. I would say Penix is probably that 6 to 8 range, but Penix is good, man. He's got a nice ball that he throws. Just be happy that you don't have to play my Razorbacks. Did they beat BYU? I genuinely don't know. Did they beat BYU? I know they played them today or are still playing them. I don't remember. But maybe the power of the Mormons really came out or something. Texas almost blew it. I forgot I got to click out a top 25. I got to go to actually all of football. So, did they win? Let's see. And then, Syracuse is pretty good. Yeah, Syracuse is pretty good. And then they lost. They're buns. Yeah. They're not great. But I'll tell you what, I think you guys have a shot to beat LSU. I really do. But and then here we go. We'll get to your second JDW. And then Mikey says, are you guys surprised that the NCAA football waited this long to explain the playoff format? I think it will be so much better with 16 teams. Yeah, it's going to be 12, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's 12, because I think how it's going to be formatted is top 4 get a bye, and then 5 through 12, they're going to play, and whoever's the higher, ranked team is going to be hosting against the lower ranked team, and then you'll get to the bowls and stuff like it is now. I'm pretty sure it's 12, but it will eventually get to 16 because that's more playoff games. That's more money. That's why I'm kind of surprised, because really the NCAA has shown that all they really care about is money. They don't care about what's best for football or for the student athletes. They don't care. The conferences, they don't care. The teams, the schools themselves, they don't care. All they care about is, hey, I can get more money, so I'm going to go to this school. So I am surprised that it wasn't expanded. I'm kind of surprised when it was not expanded, like 4 years ago. It would have made sense. And then, dude, did I ever tell you my My story about Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think he did. One of my teachers in high school played football with Marvin Harrison at Syracuse. They used to be oh yeah, I kind of do remember you saying that. That's pretty cool. And they carpooled with each other too. That's cool. I would hope that if they were good friends that he got to go to a couple Colts games. Got some nice seats. That would have been fun. But that is going to do it, guys. It has been an hour. I got to get to bed because I want to get up early. Obviously, got the stream tomorrow with Derek on Bring the Juice, so make sure you guys check that out. But yeah, and then JDW says, I don't even know if they are LOL, and that's sick. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm going to hop off. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you all for joining this stream. Had a lot of fun. All the chit chats and all that stuff. It's obviously a good time. We got Colts football tomorrow. They're playing the Texans. Like I said, I got Colts winning by 14. I do. I think the Colts right now, even though they're not a great team, I think they're a better team than the Texans. So yeah, thank you all for joining. Make sure you subscribe. Excuse me. I usually cut out the burps, but the burps will stay in here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you do whatever. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Matt. I'll see you next time. Take care. Let's click on end stream. Come on. Maybe I should. There we go. Look at that. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Bye. There we go.